And that is the goal of the Aristoleo program, the Interreg Med program, which is a 5-country, 3-year study to enhance the competitiveness of the Mediterranean olive growing regions by producing olive oils that conform to the EU 432/2012 labeling regulations, which stipulates that you have to have at least 250 milligrams per kilogram to be able to put a health claim on the label.
In fact, the road to this green future is one that binds science to tradition. At our own Atsas farm, a few miles from here, we have applied this very principle with outstanding results by creating an agricultural system that works on the principles of agroecology, that, like nature itself, combines resilience with versatility, that teaches us practices which respect nature in order to yield a product that will benefit mankind.
Furthermore, as Jordan sits on the southern edge of the Fertile Crescent, it has been identified as the 4th most important area for food security in light of the percentage of crop wild relatives. And if you notice here, I know it's a bit small, but Cyprus is also part of that 4th most important area for crop wild relatives. However, we're facing challenges. Now here comes in the role of the Royal Botanic Garden of Jordan, which I established in 2005. It's a non-profit, non-governmental entity whose main purpose is to conserve our native flora at the whole systems level for the future. Now, having only been launched in 2005, we're the very young garden, one of the youngest in the world. But it was clear from the outset that we had to work with local communities if we wanted to succeed in the flora conservation, mainly because we believe whatever we achieve in the garden site, it can be and must be replicable outside of the garden boundaries. And our aim was not only Jordan, but the region as a whole. So our components are divided into these 3 themes. And the science conservation, it underpins everything we do, because without facts and figures, we will never know how to move forward. And this involves all aspects of biodiversity and conservation in arid land environments. Then we need to translate the science into a language that the other audiences can actually relate and understand. And that comes in our education and community development. And we're raising awareness and disseminating the results of our research on Jordan's biodiversity to the public and to the scientific community, policymakers and other stakeholders, while encouraging nature-related projects to the local communities.
But the most interesting finding came just 3 months ago, when olive oil rich in oleocanthal, through the diet of the animals, achieved to block completely the progression of Alzheimer's disease. We're not talking about pure compound administered intravenously. We're talking about olive oil containing high oleocanthal getting into the body of the animals through diet. They were eating food with olive oil with high oleocanthal content, and in just a few months, just in 4 months, it was the progress of the Alzheimer's disease was completely blocked. I think it's one of the most fascinating findings of this year. But it's not only oleocanthal. There are other experiments showing that other similar ingredients of olive oil can also have similar effects. So we have a total amount of healthy ingredients that can protect our brain. And also we have other results. It's a model mimicking multiple sclerosis. In that case, the olive oil phenolics could also stop the progress of the disease, because again, we have an inflammation. If we can stop the inflammation in brain, as it can be shown here, we have this very interesting, very interesting effect. And all these studies have been performed either with olive oil rich in oleocanthal coming from Greece or from compounds, pure compounds isolated from Greek olive oil that has been administered to the animals. Want some more?
Yeah.
About oleocanthal and cancer. It was published 3 years ago that oleocanthal can block the proliferation of the cancer cells and can kill the cancer cells in just 30 minutes without affecting the normal cells. We thought that can it be true? Is it real? And what we did, we performed the same test in our laboratory in Athens, because the first study was performed in the United States. So we isolated pure oleocanthal and pure oleacin, and we tested in human cell lines. And what we found indeed that in very low concentration, these two ingredients could block the proliferation and kill the cancer cells without affecting the normal cells. And the most interesting appeared in literature just a few months ago. Look at this. Olive oil phenolic oleocanthal modulates estrogen receptor expression, and it could block the progress of breast cancer 95%. Not only in vitro, but it is also active in vivo, in animals. What we're doing now, we're testing these ingredients in humans. And in the event that we're going to do in a few days in the Old Parliament in Athens, we're going to announce the first results of the clinical trials in humans. Talking a little bit about oleocanthal, I would like to say that we have screened thousands and thousands of samples. At this moment, we have analyzed more than we're close to 6,000 olive oil samples that have been analyzed in our laboratory by the specific NMR method, which is very accurate for the measurement of oleocanthal. What we have found that the highest oleocanthal concentration is natural. We're talking about natural concentration in olive oil has been achieved in an olive oil sample from Cyprus. And it was achieved this harvest season in September 2017. We're talking about an extremely high concentration, about 3 grams of oleocanthal per kilogram of olive oil. In that case, I'm sure that we're talking not about the food. We're talking about a drug of the future. And I'm so proud that this specific olive oil is coming from this place. And it comes from a very, very old Greek variety. It's the variety of the Kalamata, Kalamon, the Kalamon variety. And this variety, grown here in Cyprus, gave this amazing result. And most possibly it gave these results because these trees have been grown with all the applied agroecological system. And I feel that this type of agriculture has a very important effect.
When it comes to the olive oil, the reason why we have such high concentration of polyphenol into our olive oil is, of course, the geology, the temperature, the way we're watering trees, and also the way we're collecting the olives. We're collecting really fast, and we're milling within half an hour. So we have no oxidation, and we can, retain the best quality possible. But the main reason really behind it is that the tree has access to all the nutriment, or most of the nutriment it needs to create those phenols.
So, what about olives now? What about Greek olives? Does olives affect the lipidemic profile? Which olives? Which substance of olives? And probably these compounds that we found in Kalamata olives contribute to the reduction of cardiovascular disease. And we continue now with a new ongoing research.